Good evening. Good evening. There we go. I think this is a position of honor. I'm the last speaker, I think. So it's one or the other. I don't know which one it is. We just had our child welfare summit. The entire child welfare system in the state of Florida gets together every year and trains and talks strategies. I gave the biggest speech of my career. I was very nervous. And I forgot to thank the people that actually do the work in the child welfare system. So I'm going to stop right now and turn to Kurt Kelly and say, Kurt and the coalition of our lead agencies, thank you for what you do for the people of Florida. All right, and I'll be quick. We are in a period of transformation at the agency. I work for a fantastic governor who I've been in the business a long time. I've been sent into the agency really with no constraints. There's not any stoves too hot to touch, et cetera, et cetera. So it's been a real honor working for the governor. And very quickly, we recognize we have one of the best systems in the country. For those of you that are aware, yes, we do. And that is real. About 2 decades ago, Florida made a very bold decision to outsource the child welfare portion of our system to local community-based lead agencies so that the local community can design the care around the children. It has been an overwhelming success. There are many states that spend a lot more money than we do. We, on basically most measures, if not all, we outperform them, especially the large states that are comparable in size and stature. The experiment has been a big success. So congrats to you again, sir. All right, down to business, what we're trying to get done. DCF is involved in over 4 million Floridians' lives right this minute. One of the things that we know they all have in common, most of those folks are in some form of crisis, be it financial, mental health, substance abuse, or in the child welfare system. We have set a goal with our 12,000 employees to reduce the number of families in crisis in Florida by 20% by 2021. We went through each of our program areas in the agency. So we're talking about folks that have been on public assistance for 2 years and can't seem to get off, folks that continually go to our crisis stabilization units for Baker Acts and things of that nature, and folks that keep coming through the child welfare system. We quantify that there's about 400,000 of those folks in the state of Florida. We're going to reduce that number. To do that, we're going to focus on 2 strategies. One, we're going to increase the number of pre-crisis contacts we have with these folks every year by 20% by 2021. You'll see a theme there. Essentially, we're trying to stop being the emergency room for folks, and we're trying to get into the preventive care business. We miss a lot of opportunities as an agency to get involved early when folks first start presenting problems in their lives. It's going to require a transformation inside of our agency. For instance, on the economic self-sufficiency side, your SNAP and TANF programs. Over time, we've become more of a payroll distribution operation. We don't do a lot of care coordination. We don't make the connection that this is the 6th month you've been on this kind of benefits and things don't seem to be changing for you. We're going to change all that. And we're going to do all that, by the way, with mostly existing resources. And then we're going to focus on program accountability. It's reentry. So if we're spending a state dollar on a program, we should not see you coming back in 3 weeks later, 6 weeks later. The program should be effective. And if you've heard the First Lady speak at all, you know this is a passion for her. Program accountability is something we're going to be driving. So I wanted to brag a minute. We challenged the agency with these goals. I mentioned our 12,000 employees. Some really amazing things have already started happening. The governor mentioned one in his state of a state. Our CLS attorneys, the folks that drive the legal process around the children that are removed from their mothers and fathers. We had roughly 3,000 of these children in our system that had reached the status of having their parental rights terminated, but they were in the system just needing an adoptive home. Our CLS attorneys took the challenge to heart, and they said, we're going to focus on that population. There's no reason for those folks, those children, not to be in a home with a family. In under 6 months, they cleared more than 1,600 of those cases. So, sorry, I inflated that a little bit, sorry. I know you guys pay attention to the numbers. A third of the cases have been cleared through focused effort and determination. No additional resources were made. The management of that operation made it a priority, and those children are now with a mom and a dad in a home, and their lives are changed. So it's a big success. Please give them a hand. The other big win I wanted to mention, we do have problems at DCF. Our front lines are not very stable. We struggle with turnover. You heard a little bit from some of the earlier speakers about that. There's a lot of work that needs to be done there. We started the process of bringing our employees together and asking them, what can we do to change how you do your work? And what we found is over time, jobs have evolved, and these folks, our case managers and our investigators, are doing less and less and less work with families, the stuff that fills them up internally. They're doing more paperwork. They're driving everybody around town. There's a lot of compliance things that we keep piling on them. Every time something bad happens, the secretary in Tallahassee writes a policy, boom, you got more work to do. These work groups spent 6 weeks together and came back and presented very common sense suggestions, such as, can we use electronic signatures? You keep me from driving across town to get a physical. Can we do that? That seems pretty reasonable. Can you automate these forms? You know, it's 2020. We're still dragging accordion files of paper in our trunks. It's true. When they got done with their recommendations, and then we did the case manager recommendations, this is an astounding number. This is a conservative estimate, and this is one you can hold me to. If I deliver on executing the ask of these groups, all very common sense, we will be able to repurpose 5 million work hours into the system. That's the equivalent of putting over 2,000 CPIs back to work at DCF. It's a huge, huge accomplishment by our team. And so now I've got to deliver. So there you go. A lot of great things are happening at DCF. Legislatively, we have put forward one transformational bill that I want to make mention of. I need your support. It does 3 main things. One, DCF needs to establish as its core function driving quality assurance throughout the system. Decisions were made, models have been different over time. We don't actually have a quality assurance core function at DCF. It's something that when something does go wrong, I know everybody wants answers and they deserve answers, and we can't fail our children and families that we're serving. So it establishes that. 2, the funding for the lead agencies. There's 17 lead agencies in the state of Florida. There is no rationale or basis that ties actual funding to the need in a community. So every year, we have some areas of the state that don't have enough money to serve the children in their area. And it creates a need. I love my brethren that are lobbyists, but it creates the need for a child welfare agency to hire a lobbyist to go get money to do their job. It's something that I found, having been in government a long time, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And so we have worked with our partners across the system to recommend a funding methodology and then a plan over 4 years' time to get the entire system to at least 90% funded against that formula. I'll leave it at that. I'm very excited about what we're doing. There's a lot of momentum already underway at the agency. We do need your help. I can tell you, standing here with most assuredness, there is a foster child in your community that could use a foster home. There's a foster family in your community that could just use a night out. You don't have to be a foster parent. I can tell you there's a family that might need a little money to keep from going deeper into our system. There are all kinds of ways to get involved, Guardian Ad Litem, our Community Alliance system. Please look into it. And if you can't find the right conduit, call me. I'll help you. We need your help. Thank you all very much, and God bless. Yeah.